Let's talk about Left 4 Dead for a minute, all right? Originally created by Turtle Rock Studios back in the mid-2000s as a Counter-Strike source mod called Terror Strike. Effectively a thing where a bunch of zombies would spawn at you in Counter-Strike maps in waves and you just had to survive. That became one of the most important cooperative experiences of all time in the games industry due to Chet Falasak's interest in the project and Gabe Newell's allowance to give some of the development talent of Valve to help out with that project, and then history ensued. A lot of weird business stuff took place, and now we have Left 4 Dead 2, and Turtle Rock is working on Back 4 Blood. Left 4 Dead was kind of Valve's thing for a really long time. There weren't many clones per se, other than maybe Payday. However, in recent years, creating a 4-player cooperative experience is so common that everybody is attempting to find their own edge in that realm of game design. You have Left 4 Dead with aliens, Left 4 Dead with Warhammer, Left 4 Dead, but it's third person. And today we're going to be talking about a game that is effectively Left 4 Dead in third person meets Baldur's Gate. It's called Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. I was given access to this game by Wizards of the Coast a couple of weeks ago, and I've been playing through it and wholeheartedly enjoying my time. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance is a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2. Those games were made by Black Isle and published by Interplay Studios back in the day, at least Dark Alliance 2 was, and those were supposed to be, originally in their development, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 as console ports, and over time they turned into hack and slash adventures. We now have Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, itself very much a spiritual successor to those games. However, after having played this new Dark Alliance game for many, many hours, it is a fully updated version of what that game was attempting to do. This is a 4-player Left 4 Dead style cooperative experience, down to how campaigns are formatted. Campaigns are separated into different storylines, and each of those storylines have unique instanced acts that the players need to link up for and play through, not one continuous story. And the game also reminds me of something like Gauntlet Legends from back in the day, where each of the characters has unique abilities of their own. You have different classes: the rogue, the ranger, the tank, and the bruiser. I spent my entire time playing the tank. Yeah, the game's kind of interesting how it works. It has light RPG elements. It is a hack and slash, but it's also a dungeon crawler, and it's also a cooperative experience based heavily within how Left 4 Dead operates. You can explore these levels at your own pace with friends. However, it's not necessarily heavily incentivized to explore. However, it is very valuable to explore. You can find crafting materials and different gear that you can upgrade in the hub. Leveling up your character results in a wider range of moves you can use in combat. Apparently there's like 50 moves per character. The combat goes from very simplistic dodging and heavy attacks and light attacks to absolutely insane stuff where you're bouncing all over the map doing a whole lot of different combos and attacks. And it goes from a very light combat co-op focused game to a very intense combat experience. In total, there are 21 missions, each of these being levels split up into 3-act structures. There's 7 stories in total, all of them taking place in Icewind Dale. These stories follow the canon of the Legend of Drizzt series, and as I stated, each of these characters can be leveled up. You can adjust your moveset, have different active and passive moves, and then you can also acquire new gear, mix and match that gear with different stats and passive buffs, and then upgrade the gear with resources that you gather by exploring extra areas or doing side challenges within the missions. There's a lot going on in this game. It's launching on June 22nd, 2021 for $39.99 on Steam, Epic, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This game is being developed by Turk Games, itself a subsidiary of Wizards of the Coast. Turk Games is also known for doing that Live Lock game a couple of years ago, which was more of a top-down shooter. This is a third-person action RPG hack and slash cooperative adventure. It is a far more ambitious title, and to be completely honest, my favorite aspect of it is the atmosphere derived from both the really good sound design, like surprisingly good sound design, and just the look of everything everything. It looks beautiful and has enough of variation within its environmental art that I never was really bored at what I was looking at. I tend to be someone that always tries to complete the levels that I'm playing 100%, picking up everything that can be picked up, min-maxing my character, trying to find every bit of resource available that could be possibly scattered throughout the level. And even though this is a 4-player cooperative experience and I played it predominantly 4-player co-op, it actually can be played single player with the 1 player switching between the characters. However, I didn't spend a whole lot of time doing that. The whole point of this game is to experience dungeon crawls, hack and slash dungeon crawls with 3 other people, up to 3 other people, each playing their own unique classes. Those classes, of course, have their own abilities and move sets that can be upgraded over time, effectively talent trees. And the levels are actually designed where some of the secrets hidden throughout the level can only be found or activated by certain abilities owned by certain characters. So maybe some of the resources are really high up and you need the archer to be able to, take it down. And the difficulty of this game is kind of interesting. There are 21 missions in total, but there are a huge range of difficulty levels on each of those levels themselves. You can choose how difficult the level will be from a long list, and depending on how difficult you make the whole experience will change the rewards you get by completing the campaign. The whole idea of risk versus reward is seen throughout this entire friggin' experience. Really cool concept that this thing does. There are points in the levels where you can hit checkpoints, meaning if your whole team dies, you can push up where you go back and spawn. However, you can choose to not take the checkpoint and instead make that all the loot that you get throughout the rest of the level be upgraded in rarity. And you can do that throughout the entire level to the point where you will not have a single checkpoint, but everything you're getting is insanely rare and very, very valuable. The game's marketing is touting a lot of boss battles. There are very interesting boss designs. There are 7 final bosses in total. However, each level is capped off with a larger fight with a more difficult enemy. Those 7 boss battles close out each of the 7 stories that are separated into those 3-act structures. It's interesting to read into the development history of this title because it actually seems to have been quite a smooth development. A lot of the principal designers and developers and writers for proper Dungeons and Dragons had a lot to do with how things were made and decisions that were made throughout the development timeline of the game. I mean, it all takes place in Forgotten Realms and specifically takes place in Icewind Dale. I don't know if you've seen this, but the game will actually be out on Game Pass on day 1. So if you're interested in checking it out, I recommend checking it out on Game Pass. It's a pretty fun game. I've had a really great time having the opportunity to play it before release and just putting in a lot of time. I recommend playing with a controller if you're playing on PC, actually. I found it a lot easier to execute some of the late game combos. There are some different button combinations you can do to activate some absolutely insane attacks. That's just a lot easier to do on a controller. I recommend playing the game, and I do think that anybody that's looking for a different take on the Left 4 Dead style 4-player cooperative experience would definitely enjoy Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, again out on the 22nd. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for giving me the opportunity to play this game and check it out. I appreciate it. But anyways, I am Tyler McVicker, signing off. Have a good day.